All right, welcome to another trading analytics video. Today we have a few new developments in the market that we need to discuss. I also have one trade idea to share with you guys towards the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. So let's just jump right into it with the S&P 500 or SPY. And the first thing that kind of jumps out to me is the fact that we were able to close over the 100 EMA. So just to get straight to the point, if you want to consider going long on the S&P 500, you can take a long right here around the 100 EMA, assuming we hold it. And if we're above the 100 EMA at right after tomorrow's data, you can look for a potential move back towards this trend line, which does take you towards this 593 level. Now, for me personally, I don't want to be long on the S&P 500 until we break the downtrend, and I'll kind of show you guys where our downtrend is. So just go right there, there, and then there, right? And so for me, I want to participate in the long side of the S&P 500, assuming we break this downtrend. So that'll be a break of this downtrend line right here, and I'll even feel a little bit more comfortable going long somewhere in this region here. Once we're able to close the daily candle above this downtrend line, this will be a signal that we are, coming out of the downtrend and obviously rounding back up, possibly back towards a all-time high. So swing trading SPY long after breaking the downtrend is my preferred scenario. Now, once again, the scenario that I gave with getting in the S&P 500 long above the 100 EMA is just because it's a low risk entry. And what you could basically do is, if we lose the 100 EMA at any point, since we're so close to it, you can simply stop out for a very minimal loss. So that's the one way to play it if you want to kind of be early to the party. Now, my suggestion, like I said, was to wait until the downtrend is over. Once we get out of the downtrend, which is breaking this line and closing a daily candle above it, then you can consider going long and then swing trading back towards the all-time high, or the previous all-time high, and then looking for a new all-time high after that in your runners. So once again, for me, I'm going to be looking to go long somewhere in this region, right over 593, somewhere around there, before I decide to go long, and then obviously swing trading towards the previous all-time high. Now, I need to discuss the downside. Like I mentioned, we do have PPI tomorrow and then CPI Wednesday. And so what that basically means, is volatility, right? That's going to bring volume and volatility to the stock market. And so in my opinion, if the stock market doesn't like the news that we get for whatever reason, right, we can easily round back down towards this 573 level, and then below 573 we can get towards this 564. Now, if I'm going to be catching a falling knife, 564 is where I'd want to do it, and I'll kind of show you guys why. Give me one moment. Let's switch over to our weekly chart. And so 564, if you will, and that'll be kind of a retest of our breakout zone right in this area here on the weekly, right? So 564 is basically right around that level before we can round back up. So I could easily see how this could be a nice retest of the breakout on the weekly chart. So again, if we're able to get towards 564, that would be a good area for me to consider going long. That'll be my holy grail entry if I am going to be catching a falling knife. Otherwise, it's just like what I stated before. I want to get involved in the S&P 500, assuming we get above the downtrend line, if we're going to be heading up from these levels that we're currently at now. So that's how I would play the S&P 500. Let me know in the comment section how you guys would play it, whether you're considering going long now or if you're waiting to go long after we break the downtrend. I personally, like I said, believe waiting till the downtrend breaks is the safest way to do it. Or I'll take the weekly retest of the breakout right around 564. Either one of those is my preferred scenario. The 100 EMA is just a low risk entry, but not my preferred scenario to go long. So that's how I'm playing it. All right, on the NASDAQ 100 or QQQ, this is very similar setup to SPY and basically very similar price action as well. As you can see, we were able to hold the 100 EMA here as well. The only thing with the NASDAQ 100 is that we didn't really go below it. We kind of got down to the 100 EMA and held it perfectly, and bulls were able to put together a nice little rally off of it. And so I really like what I'm seeing from the NASDAQ 100. I do believe the 100 EMA is a low risk long entry for you guys, and I'll show you guys a little bit more when I switch over to another time frame. Now, again, there's a lot of similarities to the S&P 500, but there is some differences. So let's go over the quick similarities. We are in a downtrend, just like the S&P 500. So we have this, and I'll draw this out for you, right? We did hold the 100 EMA. All of that's the same, right? So again, going long from here, you could take this back down or back up to this downtrend line. From here, if we're able to close a candle above it, this is where I believe is the safest long position. Although, once again, you're not going to get rewarded as much as the people taking all of the risk, which is down here at the 100 EMA. However, breaking above this downtrend line and going long from here is, again, the safest bet that you can probably get, although you won't make as much money. I do believe from here you could easily get back to the all-time high on the NASDAQ 100, just like I mentioned on SPY. Now, there is one key difference on the NASDAQ 100 versus the S&P 500, and this is kind of where I'm kind of starting to believe that whatever pullback we have currently, it might be over. Once again, there is still data ahead of us, though, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, right? But I wanted to show you guys this and let me know what you think down in the comment section. So I'll go ahead and switch over to the weekly chart. And so on the S&P 500, if you guys remember, we essentially need, we're a little bit ways away from retesting the breakout on the S&P 500. We need to get down towards 564 in order to do that, right? Now, if you notice, the retest of the breakout on the NASDAQ 100 just happened, right? So on the NASDAQ 100, we kind of already got that out of the way. So from here, like I said, when I mentioned I wanted the Holy Grail entry on the S&P 500 was a retest of the breakout. Well, if that's the Holy Grail entry on the S&P 500 for me, why wouldn't it be the Holy Grail entry on the NASDAQ 100 where we're getting the retest of the breakout here? So again, I thought this was very interesting that the NASDAQ already, had its retest of its breakout already. This could signal that whatever pullback we just had is over. Now, one thing on the NASDAQ, sorry, not the NASDAQ, one thing on SPY, and I'll just quickly click back over to SPY, we did fill the gap, right? The 576 gap did get filled. So that's kind of out of the way. And I don't know if that was, a pullback that the bulls were looking for before, taking this back to the upside. So the S&P 500 took care of the gap. So that's a check, right? Now just jumping right back over to the NASDAQ again, while there was no gap to fill, we did retest the breakout here on the weekly chart. So again, this is pretty good development and pretty good data points to say that the pullback might be over. Now, I don't want to speak too soon. Let's get through data. Once we get through data, we can kind of reinforce our thesis a little bit. But this is something you might want to pay attention for. We're getting that retest. It's already happened, and you're seeing buyers step up in this area. So that's another good sign. We're above all of our moving averages. That's another good sign. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. All right. So assuming we get some of the bullish scenarios like we discussed on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, assuming we get some of those bullish scenarios, I want to share a couple trade ideas with you guys or a couple charts to put on your watch list that you can look out for. So the first one that I want to bring to your attention is MicroStrategy. And so you guys can see, I'll make this one really quick. So you can see that we have this lower trend line here. We basically have been bouncing off of it twice. Bulls have been showing up each and every single time we've gotten down towards this area here. So assuming the NASDAQ 100 or the overall stock market can put together some kind of rally back towards all-time highs, this will be a chart that can really get going in the bulls' favor. And I do believe that this can push well over $400, assuming that the market is bullish. So keep this one on your radar. It's going to be a very powerful move, assuming all of the stars align like I just mentioned. All right, quickly jumping over to Tesla. What I liked about Tesla was on the 4-hour chart, we did have this nice consolidation after the bounce. We got a nice little sideways consolidation on the 4-hour chart. So that's what I noticed on Tesla earlier today and when I posted it in the Discord server. Now, we did get some news. Morgan Stanley values Tesla at $800 per share in the bull case scenario. That news came out well after I put out the heads up in the Discord server about this consolidation and a possible move towards 420. So I kind of want to just go over just ignoring the news for a moment. So again, like I said, we have this nice consolidation going on here right on Tesla on the 4-hour chart. Now, once again, I think this is going to require the overall market to participate. And so just going back to the same narrative that we've been talking about the entire video, if data goes well, then Tesla can see further upside as long as the overall market is participating. So now, I think once we get up here towards 420, like I mentioned in the Discord server, if we can break and close a 4-hour candle above 420, I do believe Tesla can get ready to go on a major face ripping run back towards 460 and maybe even back towards all-time highs. So again, a lot to come out of this particular move on Tesla. Keep this on your watch list. Once again, over 420, things get really radical for Tesla as far as possibly a very rapid move to the upside, not only off the heels of this news, but also the chart supports it. Now, the only thing left is the overall market participating. Now, if the overall market tanks, then this is a no-go. And once again, it's a no-go regardless if we're not breaking over 420 for that big move towards all-time highs. But again, the consolidation on the 4-hour chart looks good. And so breaking over 420 is the first hurdle, which is why in the Discord server, that's why I marked that level, 420 being the big key for Tesla. All right, last but certainly not least, I want to share the main trade idea that I had for today's video, which is Trump Media and Technology Group, or DJT. So before I get into the analysis, I want to share with you guys something right here on the screen that I put in our Discord server. And so this basically kind of covers the times where we had a catalyst that was coming up and the way DJT stock reacted, which was obviously positive. So I'll kind of go through a few of them here. November 2022, Trump announces he was running for president. Stock went up 100% in a week. January 2024, Trump wins Iowa primary. Stock went up 300% in a week. June 2024, presidential debate with Trump. Biden stock went up 60% in a week. Then we obviously had the presidential election run-up. Stock went up 400% in a couple weeks. This was just here in September and October. And then last but not least, we have the inauguration, right, coming up January 20th. And so with all of that, the previous data that we had where there's an upcoming catalyst and the stock reacts positively towards that, I want to kind of go through that and mix it in with the chart. So first thing that jumps out at me is this inverted head and shoulder that is staring us right in our faces, right? So I'll go ahead and draw it out so you guys can see it. And also, I just want to point out that this is on the weekly chart, so pay attention to that as well. It's a higher time frame, which makes it even more potent in my opinion, right? We are also above all of our moving averages. So again, with the catalysts that we have coming up, right, which again, we know that when a catalyst is on the horizon, this stock tends to do really well and actually makes very impulsive moves. So again, with that in our back pocket, along with the inverted head and shoulder that we have here and above our moving averages, I do believe DJT can target this $54 area. Just to make it simple, I would say target 50. I think 50 is a very reasonable move. And at this point, where are we at now? $43, somewhere in that ballpark. So from here to 50 is a pretty decent move, but I really believe the actual move is towards 54 and $55. Now, again, above 54 and 55, we can easily get up here towards this $70, $70 and $80 level. Now, again, this is not really what I'm looking for out of the trade. It's more of this $50 to $55 area is what I'm looking for out of this inverted head and shoulder. However, this can easily get up here towards 70 to 80, depending if things start getting out of control. The market goes bullish after data. If all of the stars align, I think this one could really get going. So I do like this trade idea. In our Discord server, we already started taking positions on DJT. We were up 33% or just around there before the market closed. And in another one of my accounts, I was already up 100% on a shorter dated option that I was playing earlier. So this one looks ready to go. I really like this one. Feel free to participate in this one if you want. Obviously, it's not financial advice. You'd be doing so at your own risk. But with all that being said, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. We try to get videos like this out a couple times a week for you guys with some trade ideas in addition to all of that. So let's go ahead and see what happens with CPI and PPI, guys, coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. I think it should be pretty fun. Feel free to join us over in our Discord server to see some of the latest moves that we're making in the market. So yeah, that being said, that's the end of today's video. You guys have a blessed evening, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Perfect.